3, 2, 1.
Live from the real niggas den, my nigga. I know why y'all here. Cause I made some content about Kendrick Lamar and Drake. And that shit was popping on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm forever trapped in talking about Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Every day I wake up, Kendrick Lamar and Drake, Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Nah, I thought this shit would be played out by now. But honestly, it's still going strong. And it's still one of the most interesting topics out there. For a minute, I was fatigued in talking about it. Because as a real nigga, I don't like talking about two other niggas that I don't know for that long or that many times. Like, it gets to a point where I'm done with it, right? But it keeps adding new layers. And like, I've seen everybody come out the woodwork with all it takes and a lot of good footage, a lot of good videos, a lot of good documentation. I feel like I shouldn't be surprised though, because people are still arguing if who was better, Biggie or Pac. They're still arguing Nas and Jay-Z. They're still arguing motherfucking Cannabis and LL Cool J. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's getting to the point where like I'm like, damn, none of these conversations are ever going to be laid to rest. And it's probably a good thing because I think the problem with hip hop now is the youth do not care about the historical record.
The youth them.
The youth them.
The youth them.
The youth them. Yeah, the youths do not care about what came before. And some people say that's our fault, whatever. I don't care. Whatever it is, whether that's an American problem or a black problem or just a hip hop problem, it is an issue. And so it brings kind of a joy to know that there's a deeper discussion in hip hop that's not just like, nah, that ain't right, folk, nah. Shit. Like, I listen to NBA Youngboy folk, and when I hear it, that shit just different. Boy, NBA Youngboy just different. That shit be hitting. What part did you like? When he said, my bitch used to love me, and then she left me, I felt that, cuz. I felt that in my heart, cuz. Fuck out of here, nigga. So,
The whole demographic of people you just offended, by the way. But
yeah, fuck them all. Nah, I like the, you know what I'm saying?
you're gonna have to get in the fist
The
fight.
problem is we don't, yeah, the problem is we don't bridge the gap. We're too busy wanting people to see things our way that you never take the time to see why they see things their way. And I have a problem when there's no artistic merit, but when there's artistic merit and I just don't appreciate the music that much, I'm fine with it. Listen to it. You know what I'm saying? My daughter listens to all types of weird shit that I would never turn on. But when I listen to it, I see, oh, okay, there's a lot going on here. You know what I'm saying? It's just not my cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? That being said, is Kendrick and Drake played out? Like the beef. Is the beef played out and is Not Like Us played out? And I'm going to say, hell no.
I feel like the beef is over.
The beef is over,
Yeah.
but it's never, like, the topic is so goddamn interesting. Yeah. And even after all these layers been peeled out, the aftermath is just as interesting as the beef itself. You know what I'm saying? And like the how we got here and leading up to it and peeling back all those layers and he did this, he did that. It's still interesting, man. It's still interesting because everybody stopped for it. It was a cultural moment. It's something that America is going to remember for a long time. And a lot of different walks of America is going to remember for a long time. So, yeah. And I feel like, honestly, it was like the heart and soul of hip hop versus, you know what I'm saying, the machine. Yeah. And then which one was going to win out? It was professional wrestling, my nigga. It was good versus evil. And Kendrick took the good role and Drake took the evil role. The soulless corporation role. Whereas Kendrick kind of took the ancestral, I'm here for the natives, I'm here for the black people role. Whether it's just a role or not, whether you see it as that or not, in real life, that's just things got to take on a role, and that's how it played out. It's Not Like Us played out. Absolutely not, man. I was playing it like 6 times a day, straight up, just like that. I was playing it 6 times a day. I don't do that anymore, but every time I hear the song somewhere, I end up singing along with it. I end up saying it. And I believe that the only reason why things get played out now is that people hear the song from other people too much. I was scrolling through my Instagram and I kept hearing it. Like, nigga, you chose that. You know what I'm saying? Like, anybody ask you? Yeah, you can put your shit on mute, my nigga. Like you chose that, my nigga. Like back in the day, we was just talking about this. Back in the day, you only heard a song when it came on the radio, my nigga, or somebody else played it on TV. So if I heard a song, I heard it once or twice per week. And the only way I was going to hear it on repeat is if I bought the album, which I ain't have no money to because I was a child, or I learned the lyrics and just repeated them in my head. Or else I wouldn't have a way to hear it.
Or the radio would have to be pushing.
Or the radio would have to be playing it, playing it, and playing it. And I just so happened to be in the car or turned on the radio. So we didn't have radios with us everywhere we went back then. So a song couldn't really play out. It took a long time for a song to get played out. And now I just feel like Kendrick, we haven't really had a hit like this in a long time. You know what I'm saying? In hip hop. In fact, the charts for hip hop been looking terrible. You know what I'm saying? For the past couple of months, for the past year or two, we haven't really been charting like that. And now we have a hit that's like a cultural movement. You gonna hear that shit, my nigga. You gonna hear it. And you know what I'm saying? Just everything he did with the song to make it like Drake's material is very consumable. And you hear it once and you kind of get what it is because it's a lot of surface. You get with Kendrick stuff, there's a lot of layers to peel back. Like he's doing voice inflections, he's doing punchlines that are references. People gotta learn the difference. A punchline is anything that elicits a reaction or anything that follows up and adds like attention to what you're saying. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a metaphor. It doesn't necessarily have to be funny. It just has punch to it, right? So what Kendrick does is he adds layers to his punchlines. So instead of just saying, "Hey Drake," instead of saying like, "Hey Drake, I heard you like I'm young. You better never go to cell block 1." It's not a traditional punchline. Like that's like a setup for most rappers. But the way Kendrick raps, the way he enunciates the words makes those lines in of itself have punch to it because he says them in a way that's so catchy and so just interesting and different. Then not to mention all the 24 meanings every other line has and shit. So he's able to give life to a song that most people can't when they're making a catchy sounding song. He's able to give his non-catchy songs life because he raps that way. And, you know, it's brought a whole new
Did you hear the theory about the
respect to it.
Did you hear the theory about the intro thing he did?
What intro?
Somebody was saying all the stuff he named were like names of songs in that little intro.
Oh, you mean to the video?
Yeah.
Yeah, the intro to the video. Yeah, it was all. I saw the young lady who said it was all names of songs, and I wouldn't have caught that. I mean, I heard him say Blueprint, and I was wondering. I was like, is that a Jay-Z reference? But I never even heard of most of those songs. You know what I'm saying? Like back in the day, you didn't care what the title of the song was. You know what I'm saying? Like you would hear H to the is O, V to the is A. You be like, yeah, put on that Jay-Z song where he go, I used to dribble down in VA. I'd have thought the song was called Dribble Down in VA and shit. But
Nigga, no, you did not.
you never know. Especially when you was a Wu-Tang fan. They'll name the song Primordial Ooze of the West Side Contemplation.
That's a fact.
RZA, swing your guillotine swords. It won't say the word guillotine swords the whole time. And shit. You don't know what the song called. So, you know, whatever. So, nah, I don't think it's played out. Honestly don't think it ever will be. People were giving it a shelf life. Like, yo, this song's going to go to the end of the year. But Kendrick keeps re-upping. He just keeps re-upping. And if this nigga comes out and drops an album full of Not Like Us, sounding type music with that California sound, super expeditious California and shit.
That intro song was fire. I can't wait till you drop that.
You know, when I first heard it, my brain just kind of skipped over it, and then everybody kept saying it was fire, and I went back and listened, and I was like,
He just sounded like he about to get busy on that song.
Yeah. But that's his, he's able to take things, make them sound simplistic, and have so much more to it than what meets the eye. Transformers, more than meets the eyes. Yeah, I don't think that shit gonna play out, man. And then Drake, man.
How do you feel? Like, I was talking to you about this, man. Like, I was not around. Like, I was not paying attention to for specific reasons. People going back and just now realizing that Drake is a culture vulture, essentially. You know what I'm saying? And then they keep on like now even they replaying the DMX interview where DMX was talking about how he hates him or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the fact that he just slid and like everybody just let all this blatantly obvious culture vulturism slide, my nigga.
The reason why, okay, it wasn't completely obvious that he was a culture vulture at first because he seemed to be being himself, and he didn't really go off the deep end rapping about stuff that wasn't really him yet.
Yeah.
So his first couple of years in the game is the reason why DMX hated him, because he was the exact opposite of everything DMX was, or everything that rap in general was. You gotta remember, when gangster rap came out, they hated MC Hammer. Like a lot of people couldn't exist no more. De La Soul, all them type of people. All that music started to be considered corny.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? LL Cool J. They tried to consider LL Cool J is hip hop bleeds. Then he got the mic tatted on his arm. He bleeds hip hop. So they tried to get him up out of there. Like everybody had to go this gangster route, and LL Cool J had to drop Who Shot Ya and whatnot. When before he was rapping about, I take a muscle bound man and put his face in the sand. And then that turned into, nigga, who shot ya? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Poke MCs, like everything was MCs. And then it turned into niggas and into, you know what I'm saying, thugged out shit. So by the time DMX came out of jail and they was asking about Drake, the game had switched back again because it went from being the everyday average street hood in America being displayed on TV to people turning into super gangster, like mafioso movie-esque characters with Jay-Z and Biggie and just pretending they're godfathers and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And they kind of got pretty and shit. Then the early 2000s came and just being literally what Nori said, a super thug. Like, between I would say about 99 and probably about 2006, if you weren't literally getting shot on the weekends for fun and shit and then coming back to rap about it, you wasn't there, you know what I mean? You wasn't really real. And I think because of that, like, hip hop had to change. Like, there were too many people who, while the music was great, I can't identify with somebody who's down to die for his chain. Like, I get the sentiment. I'm down to die for my respect. I'm down to die for my family's protection. But my chain, I'm not down to die for my chain. You can have it, B. I want to live, man. I want to be alive. So when a nigga's on there rapping, yeah, I'm down to die for my chain and all this other type of shit, and then niggas is getting robbed for their chain and nobody's dying,
somebody's lying.
Somebody's lying. Like, some shit's not adding up. You know what I'm saying? You're starting to see your favorites get knocked out. You starting to see your favorites lose fights and all this kind of stuff. Nigga, I thought you was...
I know exactly what you talking about.
I thought you was the ultimate predator, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I thought you was the super nigga. Like, you can't take losses. And then Kanye West came out. And honestly, that's what did it. That's what solidified it. Kanye West came out and showed people how to be vulnerable and how to be more real. Yeah. And then people, too much of the fan base related to that. So when 50 Cent came back out and tried to play the I'm thugged out role, it wasn't as cool anymore to be that dumb. To be hip hop grew up. The hip hop listeners grew up. And Jay-Z had a lot to do with that. Cut that up. Nope. Jay-Z had a lot to do with that. Alhamdulillah. Jay-Z had a lot to do with that. And just growing up everybody maturing. And then just being thugged out for no reason. When I know you're a rich celebrity who's not doing any of this stuff that maybe you used to do. Maybe. But you ain't doing it no more. So Jay-Z helped usher it in. Kanye West solidified it. And then Drake came in and prospered in it. And that's why he was able to slide in. Because he was rapping about women and his heartbreak and struggles and maintaining his sanity while being famous. I hated him. I hated because I listened to Beanie Siegel, Styles P, Biggie. This is the Jay-Z. These are the people I listened to. I wanted to hear how you was running in people's houses, kicking in the door and beating them to death. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm saying, do you think his transformation came from him not getting respect from the people that he wanted respect
So this and that brings me to the point. I hated him so much. Then he dropped Nothing Was the Same. And I had to respect it because the lyrical acuity was so great. And so I had to respect it. And then it opened my ears. Then he was being clowned to the point like he himself was the punchline. Like I remember there was this guy named Big Ghost. He just used to write blogs. This is back when blogs were big, and he used to write blogs about how soft Drake was. Like every song, he used to just drip with disrespect about how soft Drake is, and memes were made about how soft he is. And I just think, yeah, as a man, you don't want to go through that. Okay, take a look at this. There's a comedian, that white guy. He's like a young white comedian, and all the women were loving him.
Matt Rife.
Matt Rife. So in order to he hated it because he wants respect from his peers about being good at the thing that he wants to do. He doesn't want to make it just because he's a good looking guy, which I would say women should kind of understand this because they struggle with that as well. They want to be attractive, but they don't want to make it just because they're attractive. At least some of them. So they want respect for being good at what they do. So I think Drake wanted the respect of his peers. He didn't want just the women and the college students to be like, oh, I fuck with Drake. He wanted Beanie Siegel to come out. He wanted DMX to say he respected him. And when he found when hip hop kind of like took a step back from lyricism, Drake kind of stepped into that lane because although he could make music full of lyrical content, not one is easier. Well, not for him because he had to get ghostwriters, but it's easier to slide in lines that stick with you while you're just focused on the rhythm of the song or you're just focused on the melodies. Yeah. So he found that lane on If You're Reading This, and I think he took off. So now he wants to talk about, you know what I'm saying, like fucking thugged out shit. He wants the mob ties. He wants to talk about all that crap because he wanted respect from certain people. And honestly, he was starting to get it. That's the whole point of me telling you this story, is he was starting to get it. All to come out in the wash, and 10 years later, it turns out all these people secretly were tired of this nigga. I almost feel betrayed because I've been tired of this nigga since 2008, nigga. We could have did this Drake get the fuck out of here train back then. But, I mean, it is what it is. He was cheating. He had ghostwriters. He was soft. He was rapping about shit he never did. But there's a lot of people doing that. And I mean, the two extremes is wrong because there's mad rappers who's rapping about exact shit that they did and going straight to jail for it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Or going straight to the grave because the people are getting get back.
Who shot you? I did.
I shot you. I shot him in his face and now I'm at his funeral. See, there's his tombstone right there. Dance, dance, dance. Next day he shot. Yo, I don't know how these kids keep up. Honestly, I can't even get into you before you die and shit. Goddamn. Like straight up, Pop Smoke. I just was like, my ear was just adjusting to a sound, and I was like, yes, I like this. I like this Pop Smoke fellow. He has a little bit of a charm to him, and then he died immediately. Nigga.
I mean, the real ones now, but
yeah, we don't. So here's the thing: the funny part about hip hop, and it equals with battle rap. It's a few parts believability, a few parts skill and dexterity, and a few parts of, nigga, this is just music, my nigga. That's it. Mm-hmm. Like, at a certain point, we're just rapping. Like, nobody really has to die over this. But,
speaking of which,
fuck it.
What do you think about the Schoolboy Q?
Oh, him getting kicked out of Toronto?
Or they just canceled the show because then people are saying basically like, since you're gonna prevent Schoolboy Q from moving around, like what you think is gonna happen next time you come to California? Schoolboy
Q said we could make it hard for you in California, and then people was like, "What's he going? What pause? What's he gonna do? Like, nigga, they've done worse to bigger name rappers, my nigga. And yeah, Drake has security, but you can't secure against the world. So I'll tell a quick story from the battle rap annals. There was Hollow the Dawn was battling, I can't remember who now, but he was battling somebody. And so his peoples wanted to go on stage. And as they were going on stage, Drake also wanted to go on stage, and Drake had some big diesel ass bodyguard with him, right? So when Drake went up there, his bodyguard stood at the steps, and Hollow the Dawn's people was at the steps, and he was like, "Hey, ain't nobody coming up here." And Hollow the Dawn's people looked at each other and said, "Nigga, we don't give a fuck about," like, he was like, "Drake is over here, can't nobody, this stairwell shut down." And they said, "Nigga, we don't give a fuck about you or Drake. Get the fuck out the way or we stomping you the fuck out." And there's like 10 of them. And it was this one security guard dude. And then they just rushed him and pushed past him. And it could have been a way bigger problem. And Drake would have got fucked up over it. So this is all I'm trying to say. I know it feels like, oh, these people are rich, you can't touch them. Anybody can get touched. Anybody can get touched. The only one who won't get touched is 50 Cent, and that's because he spends millions of dollars every year on security. The nigga got SEAL Team 6 with him. You know what I'm saying? But that's because he came from street beef and he already got touched a few times.
And also, if you get past the security, you might be in a harder time just dealing with 50 himself. The nigga can actually box.
Yeah.
Might have the hawk on him.
Yeah.
And a gun, my nigga.
Yeah.
He done beat up cops in Miami before.
He done all types of shit. So, yeah. So, like, Drake, I feel like you feel like you're insulated from the shit. But if you're present anywhere, you show up to a show, you got arena security. Are you going to clean out arena security and use all your own security? Maybe, if you're smart. But if you don't, who's going to be the person that opens the door and lets somebody in? It only takes one person. Yeah. And who's going to open the door?
Show up with 100 niggas?
Who's going to open the door and let 100 niggas in? That's what I'm trying to say.
Showed up with 100 niggas, man.
Or when Trick showed up with 100 niggas outside the show. Like, yeah, okay, we can't get inside, but you can't get to your car, so how you getting out here? You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure the police would be at a Drake show, but they're like, are they going to be at your hotel? Are they going to be guiding you on the way from the hotel to the club, the after party?
Also, that shit is just a headache, man.
It's a headache. You don't want those problems. So that's why I keep it on wax. Keep it on wax. And here's the thing. You got people with something to prove. Canadians have been considered soft and whack for years, to our detriment. There's no place that's completely 100%. There's nothing but tough guys. And there's no place that's completely 100% soft. So Americans have a problem. If we never heard of you, we don't think much of you. That's just how it goes, because we're ignorant ass Americans. So we don't care about nothing but where we at. So we used to talk about Toronto and call these niggas soft. They ain't soft out there. But the problem is when you think you gotta prove it, and then you invite problems. You invite problems. So you might punch Rick Ross in the face because you ain't soft.
But what you gonna do when you go to Miami and you realize that it's hard to move around?
I'm telling you right now, them Zoes don't play and they don't care. I mean, don't get me up here snitching. These ain't Zoes, but the shower posse. There's niggas who get you missing for a living and then go back to their home island and stay there for a year or two and then come back like nothing happened. So the Zoes, y'all, there's a whole culture of violence in South Florida that don't even make it to the news. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
Like, there's a whole culture of
Miami was built on drugs, nigga. Like, them high rises was built off of cocaine, nigga.
Yeah. And so people only talk about shit that they made movies about, because New York is notorious for what they do. But I always say this: New Yorkers, East Coasters in general, because that's where I'm from. That's my hometown, or that's where I was born, I should say. So I identify up there. To walk around with a gun at all gives you bravery, or gives you like a aura of gangsterness, because to even have it on you is a risk, because you will go to jail forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, they will put you up under the jail for just having it on you. In Florida and a lot of southern states in general, they encourage you to have it on you, my nigga. So it's like, it's a different mindset. Every altercation, I honked the horn too hard at the nigga in New York. Get the fuck out the way, nigga. Fuck are you doing, you stupid motherfucker? Look at this bastard, you fucking movie. All this shit talking. In Florida, all that shit, pew, 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 pew. You know what I'm saying? Shit is, you can't just run up and have altercations with people out here. And the person you least think got it on them, nigga. Like, that's everybody got. The old man down the street got it on him, my nigga. I tell the story all the time. An old man walked out of the fucking gas station and said, turn your fucking music down. And the niggas in the car said, what? Turned that shit up higher. Sat back and turned the car back up. For sure. That nigga said, oh, okay. Went to the car and came back. Pop, 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 pop. Killed them niggas. And then waited for the cops and thought he was going to get away with it. Said, yeah, I felt threatened by their music. And they put that nigga under the jail. But the fact that he thought he was going to get away with it. That's how old white people feel out here. You will die by the least gangsterest nigga on earth. That's how it goes. Like, everybody got guns. Everybody's doing shit. I don't even make noises in my car. Like, somebody cut me off, I'll just be like, so be it. Because I ain't down to die over that shit. And these niggas out here will kill you for no reason. No good reason.
They had video of the nigga shooting through the nigga who was shooting through the windshield. That was Florida, right?
His own windshield.
He shot out his own windshield, yeah.
Niggas don't play in the South.
While the car was driving.
While it was driving.
That nigga up the grip and started shooting out the windshield.
So I only say that to say, like, you don't want to play games out here. And I think it was Uncle Luke, right? And he came out and said, hey, y'all chill out with all this shit. Y'all beating up Rick Ross and shit. Like, everybody just relax, stand down. He wasn't making threats because he was just like, it's hard. If you want it so you can't come to Miami, we can make that happen if that's what you want.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's just kind of like, and this is my bad, because I'm circling back around to J. Cole, whom I know you hate. This is exactly what I'm saying. I think that J. Cole really thought about the fact, do I want this headache that could possibly come from this? No. Like, I value my peace, my nigga. Like, yes, you could go to war with a person, but there's a certain peace that you're not gonna, like, you have to look over your shoulder. And I know how you feel about it. I'm
just gonna say that's what makes hip hop different from country, rock and roll, all these other type rebel type shits that have that personification of, where I might say something I shouldn't say, or I'm gonna do something I shouldn't do. Well, hip hop is actually dangerous because it's supposed to be born out of real people going through real things, and the shit they talking about is supposed to have an element of realness to it. It's not just supposed to be made up bullshit. I say that to say that when you battle somebody, it used to be you walk up in their street, in their hood, people you don't know, and y'all would go rhyme for rhyme. You brought 15 people with you, he had 15 people with them, and y'all would go till there wasn't no rhymes left. It's a lot less dangerous when you're making music from a studio 7 states away.
Basketball, when I played the hoops.
And all you have to do is have some mindset. I'm not going to talk about Kendrick's dead grandmother. I'm just not going to do that. Now, there's battle rappers that have done that, but if you have certain self-respect, you can diss somebody without offending the wrong people. That's all I'm saying. So I think J. Cole should have been good enough to do that, but his heart wasn't in it or whatever. I just don't respect the way he went about it.
I don't know, nigga. All I'm going to say is I know Uncle Luke gets busy, my nigga, and I don't want... If I'm starting to do some shit and Uncle Luke is starting to send me messages, nigga, I am going down a terrible road right
And
now.
it's crazy because I see people in the comments like, what you going to do about Uncle Luke? And it's like little white boys or black kids that play Xbox all day.
What was the story? Like, who was fucking with him back in the day? And they was like, they thought he was...
Several people was fucking with him, but I think the most famous one is he was about to whoop out the Dog Pound and Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre and them.
That's what it was.
But yeah, like the South is bigger than the West Coast and New York combined. So when back in the day, they didn't realize when you're going at these people in the South, for some reason the South is more unified, and I think it's because they wasn't getting radio play.
You shitting on them for so long, yeah.
They wasn't getting radio play. Here's my thing. I feel as though it was for a good reason. Like the ones the cream of the crop rised.
Yeah.
But whatever. So I'm not gonna go into all that. But what I'm saying is the South wasn't getting radio play, so they had to get together and sell their music together. Uncle Luke had to have ties in Atlanta. All of Florida you had to be able to travel those roads and sell out the trunk of your car. That's how you made your money. You know what I'm saying? So they developed friendship and kinship. New York, the nigga next block over, y'all battling and hate each other. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? In LA, every other hood is a new gang, and every gang got 16 different sections, and they all, you know what I'm saying? The West Coast united under Pac. They wasn't that united before then. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was beat. There's all kinds of stories of how they was, I'm at this one show, and this one showed up and beat this one up and did all that kind of stuff. Wasn't a lot of unity. You don't hear all that with the South. If some infighting happened, you don't even hear about it. All them niggas, all these different acts that recorded at the Dungeon Family, they stay unified. And then they support each other. And so you got to know, it's not, you think it's just the person you see. There's always more. And let me tell you motherfuckers, I got a lot of family. Don't try it. But yeah, so, just leave all that alone, Canada. I know y'all eager, especially them Toronto mans, For so long, they was pretending like they was New Yorkers and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And now Drake this is the crazy, okay, I'm going to end on this. Secret, quiet as it's kept. Toronto hated Drake as much as we did. Because Toronto is not what you think it is. It's not some backwards fucking moose riding white people. It's a very diverse city. Black people, islanders, Asians, Caribbean, Pacific Islanders. Did I just say all the same thing twice? Whatever. But it's a whole lot of culture up there. It's a whole bunch of culture up there, right? And so they share culture with each other, so they're used to adopting other people's culture. A lot of them have adopted American culture. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make them worse or whatever. It is what it is. They adopted a lot of our culture. So they had a lot of our sensibilities when it came to hip hop and rap too. So when Drake came out, they reluctantly supported him because he was on and he was repping for the city. You gotta stand strong for the nigga who reps for you. You know what I'm saying? Like in Pensacola, Roy Jones told the DIE, right? But Emmitt Smith is from Pensacola. You won't ever hear us say his name because he ain't rep for us. He was acting like he was from Texas. You know what I'm saying? So Drake, if he comes out and yelling Toronto everywhere, Toronto it is. And here's the thing. I was up there. I started asking niggas why they call it the 6. Because I've been up here since 2012 moving around. I ain't never heard nobody call it the 6. Niggas was still calling it the T-Dot. In fact, the battle rap league up there that's big is called King of the Dot. The dot refers to T-Dot because that's what they really called Toronto. That was their name, T-Dot. And Drake changed it to the 6. We know now why he changed it to the 6. Because a nigga from Atlanta, Zone 6, was ghostwriting his music and Drake didn't change all the lines. So instead of changing the 6 line, he kept it and then started calling Toronto the 6. This is all made up by Drake one day. I know this because I was up there. And when I asked the people who, I'm talking real Torontonians, my nigga. Niggas who call it Toronto. This shit, my nigga. Not even Toronto.
With maple syrup in their hands.
All that, nigga. Niggas with blue jackets and never, but what are these shits called? Canadian gooses and shit, nigga. That's with the red patch, nigga. Real live Torontonians, my nigga, all right?
Walk around 40 degrees with a t-shirt on.
Yes, nigga. And I'm talking from the west end down to the other side, nigga. I know all of these niggas, right? So what I'm trying to say is they couldn't tell me why it was called the 6. They know everything about Toronto. Couldn't tell me why it was called the 6. I think it's because there used to be 6. It used to be cutting the 6. They was making it up, my nigga. They was making it up. They was trying to make it make sense because Drake just started saying it one day. But they had to reluctantly accept it. Now we know it as the 6, so they adopt American traditions. Oh, they think we're cool now. Now we gotta adopt it. But did they really want to do that? No, it's based on some bullshit. They didn't want to do it secretly, just like the rest of hip hop. Toronto don't really like Drake like that. And if fucking Not Like Us is still like number 7 on their charts in Toronto. Yeah. Yeah. You think the West Coast was going to play Who Shot You by Biggie? Hell no.
Yeah, that shit wasn't getting no airtime.
You weren't getting no air. They killed that nigga the next time he showed up, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That's how they felt. That's how they felt, nigga.
Oh my God.
So what I'm trying to say is like, don't make this a Canadian versus us shit. Not Like Us refers to Drake being a culture vulture, interloper, what do you call it? Colonizer. If that's not you, if that doesn't describe you, then don't feel offended by it. It's all just rap. It's all just hip hop, baby. Let's let it ride. And even Drake, like, there are people saying, why you talk about Kendrick's wife? That's fair game in a battle, my nigga. It's fair game. You gonna get it and everybody gonna get it. Don't go too far. Don't start talking about dead relatives and all that. They were like, oh, he said, let me talk to your uncle. He's the man of the house. Why is he going to get the trans community? Shut up. Shut up. Get tougher skin. Get thicker skin. This is not a game for bitch ass niggas. That being said, it's still interesting. There's still a lot to say about that. But I done said enough.